part of the listening is about, do you know your marketplace? Do you know your consumer? Do you know what they need, what they want, what they desire, what they demand?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to We Are Duffree's Perspectives.
We have a lot of responsibility. We reach thousands and millions of people through the projects that we're doing.
We are a creative agency maximizing the positive impact on businesses, society, and our planet.
So if you currently look at all communication marketing campaigns, it's not always representing society.
Radical change needs to happen now. Otherwise, brands and companies are going to get left behind.
If you're a marketing manager, if you're in a senior position, you're an opportunity maker. So how can you redistribute those opportunities in an interesting way?
Every week, founder Mitchell talks to visionaries and changemakers who are shaking up the status quo.
We create content for every living soul on this planet.
Get ready to be launched into a new perspective.
In some of your interviews in This Memento, you ask for reset tips. Can we ask for some of yours?
My reset tips?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
Book reset tip.
Okay, I'm reading a book called Afropeans, which is basically the Black community experience within Europe, which is a great book. I'm reading again The Power of Now by Hector Tolle.
Yeah.
And I continue to have by my bedside Theory U by Otto Scharmer.
Wow, I'm gonna buy it.
Check it out.
Movie reset tips.
About to watch Black Panther again.
Yeah.
I did see on Netflix Molly Bloom.
Music reset tip.
Madlib. Can't remember the name of the album, but it's all like kind of really obscure beats.
Okay.
Very little vocals, but
Yeah.
really obscure beats. So yeah, check out Madlib.
Nice. A word of advice to your younger self.
I would say to myself, then don't be afraid to answer people's questions about you.
What is it that motivates you?
That change is always possible. We can all do something that can be better. And the betterment of everyone means that we can change. We can change this world. It's what I do, what I love for my clients to do. Change.
Jason.
Mitch.
Welcome. Such a nice hat.
Mitch, it's really my thing.
Is it?
It is something about being British, where I've just brought it with me from, moving from London. And it was, I kind of missed my, British side of myself. And so the one thing that really stuck was the hats.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you over here. And I've been following you for quite a while, but we've never met in person. Can you introduce yourself to us, please?
I'll do my best. So my name is Jason Fulton. I'm going to tell my age, which most people don't know. I'm 50.
No way.
I am. I'm 50 years old.
Wow.
I'm from London, originally from Southeast London. Born and raised on a housing estate in Southeast London. Went to university at Kingston, where I was doing product design, furniture and product design, 3D design. And then through many ways and means, working in retail, working in sales and marketing, working in design, ended up moving to the Netherlands in 2002, so nearly already 19 years ago, to work for Nike, which was, an amazing thing for me to do.
At their European headquarters?
At the European headquarters, which is in Hilversum, which is half an hour outside of Amsterdam. I think one of the things that I experienced when I moved here in 2002 was that I didn't want to stay in that sort of the British expat bubble, which, of course, with Wyden and Nike, of course, it's huge. But part of what I was always, I believe, good at when I was in London was about connecting and networking to different cultures. My job at the time, coming to the Netherlands, my job was to do that across Europe. So how could I not do that in a new city that I was going to be working in? So I made it in a way, one of my missions to inform myself about, okay, how does it work in Amsterdam? Who are the people? And so, of course, I was lucky that I worked for Nike, and the job I was doing meant I had, exclusive this and exclusive that, access to this, access to that. So I used to wander around Amsterdam and people wouldn't look at my face, they'd look at my feet first. And then I'd just engage in conversations because people were curious about where was I getting those. And then looking up, seeing the hat, and asking, where are you from? Why are you here? So that meant I engaged in many conversations with artists, people who worked in fashion stores, music stores. I was also used to DJ here in Amsterdam. So I got to know a lot of people, but it was a combination of my natural curiosity, feeling the need to inform myself, which I think everybody should, and my intuition of, just getting to know people.
What is it that led you to found This Memento?
So what happened was that in 2008, 2009, that recession,
The financial crisis.
the financial crisis, what happened there? Nike, as well as many other companies, took the opportunity to restructure, reorg. Then 5% of the global workforce left or were let go. Or I had the option after 10 years of working at Nike to leave, so I left. I felt that my time was done. I felt that I had more to offer, not just one brand, but many organization brands, NGOs, whatever it may be. And I felt that, to me, we should all be about, what is our professional and personal growth. And there are times in our lives and careers, personal lives and working lives, where enough is enough. You've learned as much as you could. And there's sometimes that you need to strike out on your own. And luckily I had a payout. Fortunate, a lot of people don't. But that was the opportunity for me to really be self-reflective and think, how do I want the next 10 years to look like? And what is my personal growth within this? So, I think we all need to have a little bit of a mission in our life to do that. And I chose at that particular time to follow that feeling and follow the mission, to help companies inform their own intuition, which is what I think that we do at the company.
So what is it that the brands can do basically to gain that trust from the consumers and even business to business? What can they do to help us become or help the world become a better place?
I mean, I always start from that you need to listen. You need to listen first. Keep your eye on the street and your ear to the ground. And part of the listening is about, do you know your marketplace? Do you know your consumer? Do you know what they need, what they want, what they desire, what they demand? And so for me, this is the first place that it starts, listening. But listening with not just open ears, but with an open mind and also an open heart. The way you listen is important. So, we like to encourage, when we're working with clients, that they don't just outsource and say, can you do the research and then just come back in a few months if we're lucky, come back in a few weeks and give us a presentation. No, we don't. It happens and we've done it. But what we prefer is that the client comes along for the ride and the client is listening, observing at the same time as we are. Because then they are active within the process, but they're active in learning.
Yeah, and you really create something together instead of creating it for them.
Again, I think that, when you think about 10 years ago to now, this is where I would say the biggest change has happened, I would say, within my industry, but many other industries, which is, we use the word journey a lot. We use the word narrative and storytelling a lot. But there's really something concrete and tangible in that. I've seen that 10 years ago, it really was about outsourcing. You come back to me and tell me what you found. But I feel that there is just changes in the world, people's behavior, companies' behavior, where they want more insight. Why is this happening? For what reason is this happening? Where the only way that they can be informed is by participating on the journey. And our journey is, we'll find the right people for you to talk to, come along for the ride and meet them, observe, make notes, take pictures, take video, ask your questions, and then let's come back together again to see what did we learn and what does it mean for your brand and your own intuition. So it's really a combination of information and intuition. This is what we try and do with the agency and with the clients.
You work a lot with young people. How can we help encourage social mobility, especially during times like these?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the definition of social mobility. I mean, I would say it would be about enabling access. So in order for somebody from the Amsterdam Zuidoost to make it to the a creative director at Wieden and Kennedy, for example, doors need to be opened.
Yeah.
Examples need to be shown that it's possible for someone from Southeast London. I think it's about having platforms, be they literal, physical, digital, be they mental platforms that enable people to share the experience, to open up people's views to what is possible. Because it is all possible. There are just systems in place that block those possibilities, but it is all possible if people in maybe my position, maybe your position, other people, maybe, watching this podcast, it's possible for you to open doors for people to come through and look in different places for people to come through. I would really encourage that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think and that's also one of the reasons we started this podcast is we want to walk the talk. So we don't only want to work with the companies and brands that we make the work for, like the purpose-driven content, but we also found it important to amplify as many voices that are also focusing on these things that we are talking about, because it's so important to show. We have to make sure that these voices are becoming louder and louder, and in the end we want them to be louder than the system that we are living in.
We have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, I do, the people watching this do. I believe in a way that I'm in the trenches, gathering the information, speaking to the people, but your agency is a different front line, right? You're the ones who are eventually communicating to people, this is what we believe in, these are some amazing directions, this is the inspiration. We have a lot of responsibility. We reach thousands and millions of people through the projects that we're doing. We have a lot of responsibility. And I think that we should never forget that. I really believe in the past year that we have reflected on what is our own responsibility with family, what's our own responsibility within our community, what's our own responsibility within work. Is this what I want to do, or how can I make this better? I think that this is also, this past year, may create a sea change for the next 5, 10.
Who are some of the people This Memento has interviewed over the course of a decade?
Oh, gosh. Oh, we've interviewed some amazing people. There were 2 tennis players, twins. There was Essence and Destiny. 2 black tennis players, 16 years old, from, I'm not even sure, East London somewhere. They were even in the press, in the Daily Mail, they were called, the Williams sisters of the UK.
Yeah.
And they were incredibly inspirational. But what was so inspiring about that was that 2 young black girls had always dreamed about playing at Wimbledon. They started playing tennis when they were 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Always dreamed about playing at Wimbledon. And the way that they were talking about, you know, how they were inspired, who inspired them, from Serena Williams and Venus Williams, their parents, their friends, the people in their tennis club, even the community who were just like, what are black kids doing playing tennis? And they were like, I don't care what you say. It's something I love. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Was so inspiring. 1 year later, we met them again. And one of the sisters was late for a focus group that we were doing. So, you know, we kind of waited. There were 6 of us. Client was in the back, and, you know, we waited and we were waiting, and we said, okay, you know what? We need to start the interview. So we started the focus group, and then, you know, 10 minutes in, there was a knock on the door, and she came to the door, and she's like, oh, I'm really sorry. Taking her clothes off. The reason I'm late is that I just got accepted to play for Wimbledon.
Wow.
So, you know, we saw her when she was 16. Now she was 17, and she'd been accepted at Wimbledon Juniors. What an amazing, you know, an amazing journey for her, and a way, an amazing journey for us to have witnessed, an amazing journey for the client in the back room to see the same person that they'd seen a year ago had succeeded in her dreams. That was amazing. I would say another amazing experience that I've had was meeting Rihanna. So we didn't interview Rihanna, but we were hired by LVMH Paris to work on the positioning, consumer positioning for Fenty, the Fenty brand. Flew to LA. I'd been up for 24 hours. Rihanna was unfortunately 2.5 hours late, but then she walked through the door, and what was so impressive about her she's an icon, right? I don't throw that word around, you know, loosely in her case, but she really has such an aura, impression, and determination, defiant determination around her, that you just see when it impacts everybody around her. I mean, her entire team who was there, people from Paris were there, from LVMH, and some of her local team were there, that she just walked in, and you could see it in a good way, infected, her aura infected everybody. And this is incredibly impressive. And the only person I've had that with is when I interviewed Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, when he was, gosh, how old was he? He was 19.
Oh wow! Early
at the
days.
time. They're really early days, and I interviewed him, and there was already something about his aura, which was, it was not my type of aura that I connected with, but I could tell that you know, he had something which was relentless and something which was determined.
Jason, what do you, as a father, as a business leader, as a person, want to see from brands?
I know it sounds really, again, a bit naff to say. I just want to see brands being authentic, having some integrity, and seeing things through. You know, not jumping on the health and safety bandwagon because of Corona, jumping on the black squares because of, you know, Black Lives Matter, saying we're going to change our policies, but saying something and then not doing something. So I think I want to see brands be like people. You know, I said before, young people are not just saying it anymore, they're doing it. Brands should stop just saying it anymore and actually just get it done.
Yeah. Jason, thank you very much for being my guest today. I think you're a huge inspiration, and please keep on making the work you make, and helping others and advise others and consult, and keep creating this memento, because I think it improves the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Take care.